What's going on, Prime Timers? It's Dominic from the Primetime Treasure eBay store and YouTube channel. Welcome back to another video in which I'm going to do a review of eBay's global shipping program in terms of my experiences with it over the last 3.5 months. If you remember, at the end of February, I did a video in which I said I was going to try this program out for a month and eventually report back to you and let you know how it went. And yesterday, one of the members of my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center, you could see the link to that down below. If you'd like to join, go ahead. Love to have you there. But one of the members, Yadira Arvizu Lewis, who's a great member, asked lots of great questions, adds lots of great comments. So thanks for that, Yadira. She asked me what the update was. Do I recommend this program? How much does it cost to ship things out? What's my basic, overview of it? And, I decided, you know what, this is a good time to do the review. It's been 3.5 months. I have a lot of data points now that I could look at and I think give you a fair representation of what it's like. Now, I will preface it by saying that this has been my personal experience with it. I can't promise you that if you decide to use it, that's going to be your experience with it. We obviously all sell different things, have different models in terms of how we price things and how we ship things out. So every business is different, but that's why you want to not just look at what I report to you here in this video. You want to compare it to what other sellers are telling you and then take all that in consideration and decide whether or not you want to give it a try. So I have some data that I'm going to show you. Before I show it to you, just a very brief overview. Now, if you want to see my initial video on this, I will link to it at the end of this video. So you go check that out if you want to. But as a very brief overview, eBay's global shipping program, also known as the GSP, is a way that you can easily ship items internationally and broaden your customer base significantly compared to just selling items in the United States, which is one of the things that was an appeal to me, to broaden out my customer base. It allows you to do that by simply shipping the item to Kentucky, which is where eBay's processing center is located. And then eBay takes out the item, they repackage it, they communicate with the buyer in terms of the buyer paying eBay directly to figure out what the cost is going to be to get it to that other country. And they take care of all the customs forms. Trust me, I used to ship internationally before there was a global shipping program in the late 1990s and the early 2000s with eBay. And filling out customs forms can be a pain in the neck and can be time consuming, especially if you have a busy, hectic business with limited time. So that was something that appealed to me. And it also appealed to me that I didn't have to worry about how much it was going to cost to get it to its destination source. All I had to worry was how much it was going to cost to get it over to Kentucky, which is not a worry at all, because if you're shipping domestically, Kentucky is one of the states that you would normally potentially ship to, so that's fine. So that was an appeal to me. You do not have to worry about that. Again, eBay deals directly with the buyer in terms of figuring out how much it's going to cost to get it over to them. You are completely cut out of that process. If a buyer were to email you and say something about how much it costs, how much they're being charged to ship it over there, which I haven't had anyone say that, but I know other sellers have had that experience sometimes. You just tell the person they have to work that out through eBay. That's not your concern. So in terms of one of the questions I get is, who pays to ship it to Kentucky? Well, that's just how, the way that's set up is just how it normally is set up for when you ship domestically. So if you have free shipping set up, then you've worked the cost of shipping into your item and you're paying to ship it out to Kentucky, or technically the customer really is if you work the price or the cost into your price of goods correctly, or if you just normally charge like a flat rate of $5, $6 to ship the item, then technically the buyer's paying it in that sense. So you just do it the way you normally would do it. Again, you don't have to fill out a customs form. The sheet that you get, the packing slip, looks very similar to your regular packing slip that you print out. It does have the buyer's name on it, of course. It also has an identification number that eBay uses once the item comes in to sort through things and process it and get it to where it's supposed to go. And obviously there's the address of the shipping center in Kentucky. So that's it. It does not tell you, or at least I haven't been able to figure out immediately what country my item's eventually going to. Sometimes you can figure that out if the person contacts you in advance or if they made an offer on the item, it would tell you what country it's coming from. But besides that, I haven't figured out a way to easily tell that. So if anyone else knows how to find that out, please let me know, because just a curiosity. I mean, eventually you can find it out because you could monitor the tracking eventually and figure it out that way, but that takes a while. You have to wait until it actually gets delivered to figure that out. But so that's the basics of the program. In terms of what was holding me back from using it was a few things. One, I was concerned that my items might get damaged when eBay repackaged it to send it out. I do take a lot of pride in my packaging so that items don't get damaged, don't get broken in any way. So I was concerned that that might happen. However, eBay does give good seller protection through the program. So if an item does get damaged along the way, or if item gets lost, they will cover you, and they will also remove any negative feedback that's associated with it. So there is a very high level of seller protection that is afforded through that program. So you should be aware of that. The other thing that was holding me back about using the program was that I was concerned about an increased risk of getting scammed, high number of returns, that sort of thing. Now, technically, someone can open an item not as described case on you and try to force a return, although eBay is now or shortly going to allow you to separate your returns policy so that you can say you don't accept returns for international orders, but you do accept them for domestic orders. I haven't seen that functionality show up exactly quite yet on my listing page, although I haven't paid attention to it today and yesterday, but I know that's coming very shortly, so just keep that in mind. So now with that basic overview, let's go over some of the data. And you can see here, this is my email box right here. And what I did was I sorted by one of the terms that eBay uses when they send me a message about the item. And that's one of the things I want to tell you about in terms of my experiences, and it's a positive, is that eBay is very good at communicating with you about the product. Obviously, they're going to send you an email letting you know that the item's sold, but they're also going to send you an email that looks like this, which tells you that they received the item and that it's on its way. So this is the first item that I sold through the global shipping program. You can see it's a Funko Pop toy sold for $19.99. And it says, we're writing to inform you that your recent GSP item has shipped from the Global Shipping Center. And then you could see you get a button here where you could track the package. So that's good if you are someone who likes to monitor, what's going on with your package every day. You could easily do that. You obviously cannot use the tracking number that you originally had when you shipped it from your house or residence because, or your business, because that only is going to tell you information about shipping it to the processing center in Kentucky. So they'll give a new tracking number to the item, which you could then use. Now, once the item is delivered and is received by the customer, eBay will send you a second courtesy email to let you know about that. So it says, we are writing to confirm that your GSP item has been successfully delivered by the carrier. And this is a courtesy email, no further action is needed. So that's what happens with regard to communication. In terms of the number of sales that I made, you can see them all here, with the exception of one, because I did sell an action figure yesterday for $19.99. And that's not listed here yet because eBay obviously hasn't received it in their warehouse. They just shipped it out yesterday. But there are a total of 14 sales over the last 3.5 months. Now keep in mind, I average in my store about 130 to 150 items at once that are ongoing. So a total of 14 sold over that time frame for a gross amount of sales for $671.91. So we'll round that up to $672. That's obviously a significant chunk of change. That puts the average sale price at around $48 and the average monthly sale price of about $192 or so. So the range there is anywhere from 11.99 for this item here, which is a license plate that from Colorado, 1966, that was sold to somebody in Australia. That reminds me, in terms of countries, there have been all sorts of countries. It hasn't been one predominantly. There have been a few items that have gone out to Australia. I shipped things to England, to Italy, to France, to Mexico, to Spain. I mean, it's just gone all over the place. So that's kind of fun. That's kind of cool when you know you're shipping your item all over the world. That's kind of a neat thing. So most of the sales tend to be of the more expensive variety. So if you sell pricier items, those are the ones that will have an increased chance of selling, because it does cost a bit for the person to get the item to them through the global shipping program in terms of the cost. So if they're going to spend a lot of money, most of the buyers figure, might as well be on something I'm going to spend a lot of money on anyway. So this would be the highest price sale that I made over the last 3.5 months, which was $114.99. A lot of 55 Mad Magazine paperback books, which I believe also went out to Australia. Now, a good thing I will tell you about this program is that most people who I have seen use it pay me full price. In terms of dealing with lowballers and lots of best offers, extremely rare. In fact, I never had a lowball offer in 3.5 months in dealing with an international buyer. Go figure, huh? That means that 93% of my items have sold at full price. They just pay the buy it now price. A few reasons for that. One, there are not as many people using the international shipping option as there really should be based on my experience with it. So if you live internationally and there's an item that you want and you can only get it through eBay, and there's only one person who's offering it with a buy it now option, they don't want anyone else to pick it up by now. So they don't want to send over an offer because they're concerned that during the interim of them sending the offer and you deciding whether or not you want to receive it or not, that someone else might pick it up. So they just want to grab it. And that's why that happens a lot. Keep in mind too that there are a lot of U.S. servicemen and women who are overseas, and they also want to get items through eBay and they live overseas. Some people just are United States citizens who, again, who just live in a foreign country for whatever reason, and they would like to get some of these items as well, and it's the only way they really have a way of getting it through eBay is if someone offers an international option. So you do increase your potential customer base there if you are going to offer that international shipping item. Now, how many returns have I had to deal with in the last 3.5 months? Zero. None. Not one person. Now, I hope I'm not jinxing myself and that the next sale someone wants to have a return, but I have not had to deal with that. No item, not a described case, no attempts of being scammed whatsoever. But ironically, I have those issues pop up sometime from time to time with domestic buyers. So my experience with it has really been nothing but positive. Now, I'm sure there are people watching this, especially people who maybe use the program early on, who have some potential horror stories about using the program, or maybe some bad experiences about using it recently. Again, all I could do is tell you what my personal experience is with it. And, like I said, talk to other people, find out what their experiences are with it, and decide whether or not you want to give it a try. But my strong recommendation to you would be to at least give it a try for a month. If you feel it's not working out, if you feel something, happened that you didn't like, then you could, of course, just turn it off. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not like you have to pay a fee to be part of this program. You just click a button when you do your listing and say you'll offer it for international shipping. It's really, really, to me, a no-brainer to give it a shot. I hope you do so. If you do, and you have a positive experience or negative experience, I want you to let me know that down below in the comment section. Or if you are using it, let me know your experiences as well, especially if you've used it recently. If you used it a long time ago and had problems with it and you're watching this video, I would encourage you to give it another shot for a month and see how it works out. Because as you can see, you can definitely make a nice amount of sales with it. Now, would my items eventually have sold anyway in the US? They likely would have, but uh, it's possible, although I can't prove it, but it is strongly possible that they would have sold for a lower amount, because I can tell you for sure, I do not get, and I do track this, I do not get as high of a rate of buy it now purchases with domestic orders as I do through the international orders. Obviously the numbers, the total numbers are very different, so it's hard to make an exact comparison with just 3.5 months of data. But it is interesting that all but one person used the buy it now feature. So I hope you like this video. Please like it, hit the like button if you did enjoy it. Also, as I mentioned earlier, there's the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. If you want more reselling tips, please come and check it out, join it. All you have to do is submit a join request and I will let you in. We are on the path to 500 subscribers to this channel. We're almost there. We're like 20 away. So if you're watching these videos and you like them and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Take me over that milestone. Want to get to 500. Hope you're enjoying the content, and I will see you all back at the next video. Take care, everybody.